So it is Tuesday, February 14th, and this is the East Hampton Housing Partnership, which has a longer name that I can't remember.
Affordable and Fair
Housing Partnership. All right, great. Hi. Hi. So the first thing on our agenda is the RFP went out. The RFP went out, it went out last week, is that right? I can look up the email. No, it's okay.
This stands for what?
Request for proposals,
Oh,
sorry.
okay. That's okay.
So this was for the first time home buyer program that the Housing Partnership requested funding from the CPA committee for. And, we have to do a request for proposals from different agencies. And the program is, providing first-time homebuyer assistance money in addition to financial education, so that's the meat of the proposal. So it was released last week. Most of the requests that I've gotten are from bidding companies. They're just like these big corporations that collect bids and then they send them out. I did get a request from Valley CDC this week, so on Monday, I think. So that's good, so at least we have one local agency, but through your contacts and your networks, if you know people that work at agencies that also run these programs in addition to Valley, it would be great to have more than one proposal to review if they do it actually submit it. So that's where it's at, and the deadline is, I think it's March 2nd, for proposals to come in. And then I think there's no reason for the partnership to have to be part of that proposal review, especially if there's only one.
Yeah.
We're just gonna make sure that it hits all the criteria and meets all of the qualifications, and if they in fact do, then we'll just award it to.
All right.
But I will keep you posted, and if I get a flux of.
Yeah. If you feel like it makes more sense for us to look at it as a committee, then.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right.
So that's where that's at.
Jessica, could you just mention a few places that you advertised it?
So we're required to advertise it, in the Hampshire Gazette, so there was a legal ad that was in the paper, whatever day it was. It was also posted on Combis, which is the state procurement website that everything gets posted on.
Okay, thank you.
So, yep.
So did you, what about, does HAP get it? Did you like send it to specific places
I
or no?
didn't, because I don't know enough agencies. I have to just be careful under procurement
Yeah.
rules. So I don't wanna target just one agency
Right.
and say, here, if I had 5 different agencies that I knew that actually do this, then we could contact them directly, but
Right.
only knowing that Valley runs this program, you know, and that's why I'm asking the partnership
Yeah.
to reach out to your networks so that, you know, there isn't an issue in terms of how the city is handling the procurement. But if you have people in your networks and agencies that you know of that specifically do this type of programming. I think the last time when CDBG ran it in 2008, there were 3 proposals. One was through UMass, one was Valley, and I don't know if it was HAP or not, it might have been. But there was definitely somewhere through UMass that had.
Economic development maybe,
I don't
or?
know. Yeah, but they didn't have necessarily the qualifications to do it, so that's why they're not.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good.
Right. So that's that item. We don't have a very big agenda.
Update on language access plan.
So I was to go to the department head meeting and run it by, but I ended up having a sick kid that day and did not go to the department head meeting. So, so I downloaded a bunch of documents and just tried to get a sense of what we needed to do. And I'm gonna put together a memo and I'm gonna send it upstairs, and see how the mayor wants to handle this. But quite honestly, we don't really even need to develop a language access plan until we do this 4-factor analysis first. So we have to do an analysis first, and then depending on the results of the analysis, you do or you do not need to do a language access plan.
Okay.
So, that is actually, I think, just the first step is to complete this 4-factor analysis. Don't ask me what the 4 factors are, because I know you were gonna ask.
I think I remember them.
See it in your face.
I remember them from the proposal. It was, he did it last time.
Yeah, it's in here somewhere, in all of this stuff.
Has to do with demographics and
Yeah, demographics and
foreign languages spoken
Languages
and
spoken.
stuff like that, right?
Something like that.
So, I'm sorry that I can't remember this, but who would do that analysis? Okay.
Probably me.
It's
Oh,
mostly
here it
like
is. What is
census
it?
data stuff, right?
Yeah. So number or proportion of LEP persons served or encountered in the eligible service population, the frequency with which LEP persons come into contact with the program, the nature and the importance of the program, activity or service provided by the program, and the resources available and cost to the recipient.
Limited English proficiency.
Okay.
So those are the 4 factors.
And does the city currently do data collection on that, or is there,
Oh, I've seen that before.
or would this be,
That would be me tracking it down somehow.
yeah, but
Figuring it out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know in terms of the frequency with which
Right.
LEP persons, I mean, that's just like, you know, in my office, I think we've had 2 instances since I've been here where somebody really could not speak English and was looking for information
Yeah.
specific about a business permit.
yeah,
So that's not a super high frequency rate.
right.
So it might be like, and I think we talked about this, surveying all the departments to figure that out,
Right.
talking to the schools, talking to the senior center and the community center,
Right.
looking at the census data.
Right.
And if we're not at a certain threshold, do we not have to develop a plan?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's the whole,
But it
Yeah, and
can't hurt
that's-
to have some suggestions about how you would deal with this if the issues came up.
It's true, but the LEP is a pretty, like, it's like a pretty big thing.
Mhm.
Like, it's a big undertaking, and I think that it would make sense maybe to do the 4-factor, and I would assume, based on what you said, that we probably don't meet the criteria.
I don't think we do.
But,
And also coming to resources as well, like if the
Mhm.
city doesn't have the resources to actually really, you know, that's a factor that
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
to consider, so.
Yeah, so it might, I don't know, this is just because I'm thinking about it, but it might be helpful to just identify free or low-cost resources for translation and like.
Yeah.
Which we have because of the
Yeah.
CDBG program, we
Right.
already have some of
Okay.
this stuff in place,
Yeah.
because if we end up with somebody who's a housing rehab
Mhm.
recipient who
Right.
has English, we have a whole
Mhm.
system in
Plan.
place already.
Oh, good.
I mean, the weird thing about the LEP was that it wasn't just for housing, and it just got kicked to us, it was for
Right.
other.
It's for everyone.
Because everyone has to
Yeah.
live somewhere.
Right.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah, before they register their dog
Mhm.
with the city, they have
That's
to
right.
live here, so,
That's right.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, yeah, there is UMass Translation Center I went and pulled, but it's a 2-hour minimum.
Yeah, and they're not
So it's
cheap.
like, you know, it's $60
Yeah.
an hour for 2 hours, and it's
Mhm.
like, if you just need somebody for like 15 minutes.
Right.
To have a conversation, like, I need my birth certificate, or whatever it
Mhm.
is,
Right.
you know, then this
Are there
isn't-
online kind of services
Well,
now?
I think that's what the CDBG, but they,
There you go.
wait a minute, this is our CDBG thing. No, this is HAP, never mind. Anyway, they already have some of the data in here about East Hampton. 920 people in East Hampton speak Spanish.
As their only language?
275 speak Chinese, 165 people speak French, including Ottawa and Creole. Anyway,
Not Polish?
And that might not mean that it's their
Right, their
only language.
East Hampton Public School System's English language education program states in our elementary schools there are a large number of Cambodian, Korean, Mandarin, and Spanish-speaking English language learners. So there you go.
I
Mhm.
did not know that.
So anyway, so that's where it's at. I'm gonna put a little something together and send it upstairs and see. Just get the blessing, I guess, for this four factor analysis.
Yeah, and you would have to get that, pull that from other departments as
Yeah.
well, which would be.
Yep. That's the request, is
Right.
basically bugging the other departments.
Do you need an intern to do your four-factor analysis?
Probably.
All right, we can talk about that.
Yeah, I have to choose find somebody.
Mhm.
So.
It seems like it's more, that feels like an undergraduate task more than
Yeah.
a graduate task, don't you
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
If you-
it.
If you think you might want an intern, let me know,
All right, I will.
and we will find you one.
Sounds great.
Okay. All right, other items?
It's a big sigh.
I would like to talk about Habitat. Do we want the camera on for that? I don't know.
Well, you can't say that while the camera's on, so you brought it up under open meeting law.
Yeah, and it-
that you actually need to address it, so.
It might, so we can either add that to tonight, or we can add it to an agenda that's, you know,
Next
where it's
meeting.
on the agenda, so that people know ahead of time that that's going to be on the agenda. So I guess we could figure out whether it makes sense to, you know, table it for now and add it to a later agenda.
Mhm. Well, I mean, since it's not on the agenda, we technically can't talk about it.
Oh,
Well,
I mean,
we're
we
not
can
a-
talk, we can talk briefly about it, but I think, you know, we could have a quick conversation and then add it to the agenda for a more lengthy discussion next meeting.
Well, the reason I'd like to discuss it is simply because I think that Habitat is not performing their due diligence in getting things taken care of with these two Habitat houses that we have here. And it seems to me that Megan is dragging her feet, hoping that the anniversary of their signing
mhm.
expires,
It's a
and
year
they
warranty.
therefore have no further responsibility to the shabby construction things that are in there. So, and
All right, so why don't we bring it up and to figure out what the official correspondence would be from the partnership in relation to those issues?
Mhm.
When is the warranty up?
March 5th.
Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't give us.
Prior
doesn't
to
give
our
us time.
next meeting.
Yeah. Well,
Many of these complaints, and they're serious things like heat, you know?
mhm.
We're better off, my neighbor's got 2 rooms that are 40 degrees with the current heating system, you know, that kind of thing. And they send people out to look around and they ask you a lot of questions and they kind of act like maybe you did something to cause this or whatever, okay? So, but they don't actually accomplish much, a little bit, but not much as far as correcting the major problems, you know? And I kind of feel like they're dragging their heels, hoping that the 1-year warranty will go by and then they'll proclaim themselves not responsible, you know, that kind of thing, so that's what's happening.
So since we don't have another meeting in the interim, one thing that is occurring to me is that the contract between the city and Habitat was approved by the mayor, right? So I don't know if there's correspondence.
Before my time.
Yeah, I mean, it was before Karen's time as well,
Yeah.
so it was signed by Mike, but since it's we can't sign any of that kind of stuff, so I would think that correspondence would potentially come from the mayor in relation to concerns raised.
I just
I don't
also,
know.
I just wanna just.
I'm just throwing it out there.
No, I also just wanna note that, just from a conflict of interest law, like you have a very vested interest, obviously, and so, you know, just being cognizant of that as you're sitting on this committee, you're asking the committee to speak on your behalf, and
Conflict?
so,
Mhm.
yeah, so that's why I, you know,
Yeah.
I just wanna be careful,
Right,
that's all.
no, I understand.
Yes.
So, have you corresponded with Karen at all about this? Is she
No.
aware of anything?
Yeah, not that I know of.
The other thought that I have, since the timing isn't great, is to ask, either have the mayor, or if it makes sense for someone else to do this, have someone write a letter to Habitat asking them if they'll be willing to extend that 1 year warranty until some issues can be discussed. It's a good idea.
I'm not sure that really makes a difference, because the complaints have been lodged well before that 1 year
Yes.
warranty is
But it,
up. you
well,
know.
right. I'm just thinking in relation to like this, because in addition to the conflict of interest because you live there, I'm thinking about like, what's the city's,
There's a point though, are you officially a member of this group yet?
Yes, I
Are
have
you
to, I have to
up?
swear in now, I haven't sworn
Okay.
in yet,
All right.
too busy looking for snow blowers. Yeah, that's one of the big issues, is we were told that we would have a condo fee, because it's a shared driveway,
Mhm.
and that we would each pay about $50-$60 a month, and that would take care of plowing and maintenance, and you pay that all year round. Not, because, you know, I've had homes before, I know about hidden costs, and, well, we had 3 snowstorms in just around a week's time, you know, and one of them, they wanted $125 to plow the driveway, it's like, and other than that, they're like $50-$60 a clip, and it's like, we just don't have that kind of money, you know? And Habitat had decided not to do the condo thing because it requires somebody to maintain the accounts, which they've done it before, you know, I'm not sure why they decided not to, but it kind of left us hanging, you know, it's like both of us are on disability, you know, my house is an accessible home, and it's like, what did you think I was gonna do with the snow? You know, I have no money and I can't shovel it hardly at all, you know, well, I've been trying. And I feel like that was a major fall through myself, you know. So,
Grandson won't shovel for you?
grandson has nerve damage and he does shovel,
Mhm.
okay, but he has to come in every couple hours and lay down for a couple hours until his back stops spazzing, you know. That's like I'm saying, he's got one of those hidden,
Disabilities?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so do half of her kids, you know.
Yeah.
We had all of us out there a couple times, you know, trying our best. It's like we'd all work our brains out and just get a little bit done, you know. But I feel like that was sort of, it was promised to us, you know.
Okay, so do you think it would be in Alita's best interest to make an appointment with the mayor and discuss this with the mayor prior to the committee doing anything?
Well, I don't
or-
know what the contracts are, yeah, I mean, sorry, I don't know what the contract said, I don't know what the commitment is. The commitment may be
Yeah.
fulfilled because the houses are built, so the contract might not be, I don't, you know, without knowing what the contracts
Mhm.
had in
Yeah, I
it
don't
for
remember.
details,
It's a long
then
time ago.
it's
Well-
hard to know,
I'm meeting with, actually with Angelique's mentor, because mine hides whenever there's conflict, you know. I'm meeting with her mentor Friday to talk this over. She's also on the board of directors, and I'm planning on going to the next board meeting, which is on the 28th. Because I want them all to know what's going on.
yeah,
you
no, I
know?
think that makes sense.
And I'm not sure what I can do about it, short of
Yeah.
getting a lawyer, you know.
Well, and it's hard to know kind of what our role as this committee is, and, you know, that's the thing that we have to kind of figure, if we
Yeah, I'm
have
not
one,
sure
if
what
we,
you could
what
do
it
either.
looks like, yeah.
It sounds like I think the first official correspondence with the cities should be with the contract holder, which would be the mayor. And if the mayor wanted to kick it to us,
Mm-hmm.
she could, and you could recuse yourself from whatever conversation that was in the future.
Right.
I think that makes sense.
Do you want me to ask the mayor's assistant if she can find a copy of the contract?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
That doesn't sound like something that's ever come my way then.
It wouldn't have. It's about when the land was, deeded over to Habitat. It was way before.
Yeah, years ago.
I'll see if there's anything in my office, but,
Yeah, I can dig through old email, I wouldn't have the contract, but I would for sure be able to find the RFP that they responded to, or a copy of it, because Janet and I worked on that.
RFP I might be able to find in Stuart's old files, contract, I don't know.
Yeah. But it has to be somewhere.
But I mean, I honestly think that the contract really was about Habitat making a commitment to build these houses, and now
Mhm.
that the houses are built, that contract has been fulfilled, you
Right.
know, potentially.
But it
based
might,
on
but there
that.
were some, when we wrote the RFP, we were looking for some specific things
Yeah,
to happen with the housing, so the handicap accessibility was one of
remember
that.
that was Jim Sullivan.
And so there's some other pieces, I would just think that it can't hurt to look through it and see
Yeah,
if
yeah.
there's anything.
Well, you know, the reason I'm concerned about it is because, you know, if you go buy a brand-new house, the contractor has certain responsibilities for anything that goes wrong during the first year.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't Habitat have those same responsibilities, you know?
And I think the strategy, go to the board of directors is a good one,
Mhm.
because that, if you've been just corresponding with Megan,
I haven't.
then it does bring it a little bit more public, and you might get more of a response. You know, I think it's just, you just have to be, you know, I don't know where the
line
the
there.
line is
Yeah.
between the city's involvement and now it's a private homeowner's
Mhm.
issue, and so,
Right.
you know, we wanna help because
Right.
this housing was put into place because of action that the city took to make it happen, but at the same time, there's gotta
Mhm.
be sort of that, and so that's what we gotta figure out.
Yeah, I think going to the board of directors is the most direct approach, you know, the best approach at this point, anyway.
Yeah.
The other
Let
thing-
them, make them completely aware of it, give them an
Mhm.
opportunity to correct this, you know.
Right,
Other than that, I don't see a lot of recourse except lawyers
Yeah,
and
well,
going
Western
to
Mass
the news, you know. and
Legal Services, I would call them.
It takes about 2 weeks to even get someone to answer the phone. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
But I can noodle around and find something else.
I know one of the housing attorneys at Western Mass Legal Services.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I can reach out to her and you know, I can help expedite.
Yeah,
that
if we get to that point.
If we get to that point.
But I think
Community
it,
legal services.
I think it can't hurt for Alita as the homeowner to reach out and figure out what her rights are.
Absolutely.
So-
No, I think that's.
Sort of
that
outside of
that
anything.
Should be.
Yep.
And if you don't get a response, then we
Mhm.
can
Okay.
help, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other issue is their offices are up on the 3rd floor. I'd have to ask them to do something to accommodate
In
me.
Northampton?
Yeah, in Florence,
Yes, on the 3rd floor of an old school building up there.
on Pine Street.
Doesn't happen.
And I made it up,
Legal services?
No, Habitat.
Oh, Habitat,
I made it up those stairs once for the original,
interview process.
you know, it was orientation or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And it took me 20 minutes with a couple people helping me.
Well, yeah.
Terribly steep stairs, yeah.
They can figure out how to accommodate, I would think. They would need to do that.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Should I still alert the mayor on this? or-
I'll send an email to the mayor and the mayor's office, to the assistant, and give them a heads up that you'll be contacting them, and that to pull a copy of the contract and take a look at it to see if there's any assistance that the city can provide in the situation. But my sense is that the answer's probably
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna be
right.
no, because the contract's been fulfilled at this
Mhm.
point, so. But we can at least, I'll give her a heads up that you'll be contacting her.
Okay.
So I'll do that tomorrow, okay? And then just follow up by the end of the week, I would say.
Okay.
Excellent, thank you.
Any other items on our other items? All right, then let's call it. Adjourned at 7:15, East Hampton Housing Partnership.
Yeah.